That's the shutdown response from being too stressed. Your current reality is not something that you'll be stuck forever. It is just a series of rehearsed beliefs. Try one of these things to reset your body and reset your nervous system. Have you ever looked at your to-do list, get stressed, sigh, and do the most familiar thing? You get your phone, lay on the couch, cuddle a blanket, and distract yourself. You might just think that you're lazy, but the truth is, you're not. You want to change and you know you're meant for more. But instead of taking action, you find yourself scrolling endlessly and numbing yourself. You beat yourself up for not doing more, even if your heart is asking for more compassion and not criticism. Hey, it's Dre, and on this channel, we are all about becoming better human beings. Our goal here is to help you get unstuck, reconnect with your vision so that you can create lasting impacts with your families and communities. If that resonates with you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't ever miss a video. Let's get back to it. I understand the feeling completely, and I've been there. It's not because you're lazy or it's not because you're unmotivated. It's because everything feels too much. Too loud, too fast, and too heavy. You're not broken, inconsistent, or lazy. You are just accustomed in a society that tells you to do more and more and more without teaching you how to feel safe to start small. In this video, I'll walk you through 6 golden concepts to exit your lazy girl era and to help you achieve twice the amount of work effortlessly. These are not just hacks, these are foundations. These foundations are going to help you build real momentum, real self-trust, and for you to do more without actually feeling like it's work. Concept number 1, you're not lazy, you're just overwhelmed. Let me tell you about the day that I realized I wasn't lazy, I was just exhausted. I had an entire to-do list, client deadlines, and a lot of self-imposed pressure. But even if my to-do list was really long, I just couldn't find the motivation to do anything. So I sat on my couch, on my phone, just scrolling for hours, cycling through the feeling of guilt and shame for taking a little break. I remember reading this somewhere. When the body doesn't feel safe, the mind shuts down. And this hit me hard. I wasn't procrastinating because I didn't care. I was procrastinating because I was in survival mode. So when I finally felt that feeling again, I did something different. I took a break, I closed my eyes, and I took a deep breath. I could feel my entire body just release that tension and just relax. And that single act of just regulating my nervous system really encouraged me to take the next step, and it didn't feel as overwhelming. So here's your sign that you don't need more motivation, you just need to learn how to regulate your nervous system. As we grow older, we're gonna have way more responsibilities on our plate, so we need to learn how to cope with stress in a very healthy way. Here is a prompt that you can ask yourself. What is one gentle thing that I can do for myself right now to remind myself that I am grateful and that I am safe? This breaks the shame and the guilt that you feel when you're wanting to rest. Remember that momentum is built from self-compassion and not motivation. So let's stop calling ourselves lazy, because 99% of the time that you think you are lazy, your body is signaling that it's time to rest and recuperate. When your nervous system is overwhelmed with constant pressure, notifications, it might freeze. That's the shutdown response from being too stressed. So just know that you're not choosing inaction. This is your brain trying to protect you from a perceived threat. Just think about this. If you had 27 tabs open on your laptop and it starts freezing, are you going to call your laptop lazy? No, it's overwhelmed. You are the laptop. And I have just a simple reset that you can do. Try one of these things to reset your body and reset your nervous system. Take a cold or warm shower to reset your vagus nerve. Number 2 is step outside and stand in the sun for just 2 minutes. 3 is put your phone in airplane mode just for the next hour. Or 4th, do something that you love for an hour. These tiny shifts might seem insignificant, but psychologically, they're powerful. They send the message to your entire body that I am safe. I want you to shift your perspective of what rest really means in this situation, and it comes with understanding the intention behind the work that you do. I remember when my productivity came from a place from running away from something. Let me explain. I had a lot of these scarcity thoughts, like I'm running out of time, I'm not doing enough, and it prompted me to overwork myself. Because I never felt really good enough, I was chasing the feeling of being good enough. This pressure builds over time like a pressure cooker until it just exploded, and I just felt like this was so overwhelming, might as well just shut everything down and just shut myself out. This is an all or nothing mentality that isn't conducive to the consistency you need to be successful. So the biggest shift I had was when I started viewing my productivity in an abundance perspective. Instead of focusing what you need to do, focus on being grateful that you get to do the work that you do. I promise you, this makes a huge difference. In building your stress tolerance, it takes time, the same way that you go to the gym. It's going to take time, patience, and effort. If you feel burnt out, reassess. Is it because you keep moving the goalpost further and further for you? Or is it because you expect yourself to go from 0 to 100? We should start small. The whole point here is not to question who you are in this process, it's to understand yourself better. What are some things that you can do to avoid feeling burnt out and overwhelmed again? So feelings of burnt out has nothing to do with what you're creating, has nothing to do with you, but everything to do with the process. And this is the perfect opportunity to add little things for yourself so you don't feel overwhelmed or burnt out again. For example, if you feel overwhelmed with a task, is it something that you can outsource? Or if you feel overwhelmed with a task because you've been working for 6 hours, can you add little breaks in between? Or does it help motivate you if you go to a cafe every weekend? Then incorporate that in your week. So next time you are working, do the work until you just feel overwhelmed and then reassess. Is there something that you can do to avoid the feeling of burnout? Just know that your stress container expands over time. So when you do feel overwhelmed, just add one simple task in addition to that, and over time you're going to keep growing and growing that stress container for you to be able to hold more. So take this opportunity to learn yourself a lot more and build long-lasting habits. And I find that to change what's out here, you start in here. Which leads us to our second point. Concept number 2 is rewrite your identity before you rewrite your to-do list. If your current identity is, I always quit, I never finish things, then question it. Who taught you that? Where did that belief even begin? Was it a parent that viewed your flaws? Was it a teacher that told you that? Was it your old self telling you that? Is it a fear of being seen or criticized? Just know that might be you before, but that's not you now. Your current reality is not something that you'll be stuck forever. It is just a series of rehearsed beliefs. So let's rehearse something new. Try this thought upgrade. If your old thought pattern is, I'm so bad at being consistent, your new pattern looks something like, I'm learning what consistency looks like for me. So how does that feel in your body when you say it? This rewiring isn't about lying to yourself. It's speaking to the potential that you have and moving in a more proactive sense than being defeated. And here's a hard truth. You will act in alignment to who you believe you are. That's why people who identify as lazy or not consistent keep repeating the cycles even if they want to change. And the problem here isn't willpower. It's the story that you've rehearsed over and over. Neurologically, your brain likes to stay consistent with who you think you are. It will subconsciously resist anything that feels unfamiliar, even if that's a good thing. So if you believe that you are the type of person who is inconsistent and can't finish anything, then your brain will find evidence to prove yourself right. And the fix to this is setting identity-based habits over goal-based habits. Instead of saying, I'm going to try to wake up earlier, say something like, I am a hyper-productive person who gets done. You focus on the type of person you have to become instead of the action you want to have. This makes producing the desired result effortless. When I was in my weight loss journey, I used to do goal-based habits and I used to say, I want to lose 30 pounds in 30 days. But that actually never worked for me until I did an identity-based habit, which looked something like this. I said, I'm the type of person that likes to take care of herself mentally, spiritually, and physically. And after I internalized that identity, it was way easier to go to the gym. Not because I was more motivated, not because I had more willpower, because my identity shifted. And so every time that I would slack off, I would ask, what would someone who truly loves herself do? And that's what prompted me to do the action. And just know that this mindset hack is used by CEOs, athletes, and psychologists. In James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, he says, every action you take is a vote to the person you want to become. So start small and start casting votes for this new identity of yours. The more you do it, the more you're affirming this new identity. The problem is this can work for you or against you. If you tell yourself something and you don't follow through, then you're basically casting a vote that you can't trust what you say. So here are some identity-based affirmations you can start saying so you can become a productive, healthier person. Number 1 is I am the kind of person who finishes things. Number 2 is I am the type of person who takes care of her body. And number 3 is I show up for myself even on the hard days. Say them in your head, make a plan to make it happen, and repeat this affirmation over and over. Concept number 3. Trick your brain into momentum and not motivation. Now that we understand identity-based goals, let's talk about a real secret to become twice as productive. And for us to understand that, let's talk about the myth of motivation. If you're waiting for motivation to happen before taking action, then you'll actually be waiting forever and you'll never be successful. Motivation is fleeting, it's very emotional, and it's tied to how you feel, which could change every 5 minutes. What's more reliable? Momentum. I want you to imagine this. Let's just say that your car stalled and you're trying to push it. It's going to take a lot more force to get the ball rolling or to get the car moving. But once you do, it's so much easier to push. You don't need as much force when you start doing something because as the ball is rolling, it's much easier to continue the action. And this is exactly how tasks work. The hardest part is starting, and your brain fears the unknown, not because it's lazy, but because it likes to conserve energy. Psychologists call this activation energy, which is the mental energy required to shift states. The hack, unlike pushing a car which takes a lot of effort, you make your entry point ridiculously small that you win fast. Use this 5-minute rule. Tell yourself, I'm just going to clean for 5 minutes, I'm just going to read for 5 minutes, I'm just going to write for 5 minutes. This time blocking technique works because of the Parkinson's law. Your work expands to fill the time allotted to it. So if you give yourself 2 hours to do something, it's going to take you 2 hours. But if you only have 25 minutes to do something and a timer is going off, you're going to be focusing more and finish the same task with less time. That's why if your concentration is not that great yet, start with 5 minutes. It's going to be so small and you're going to win so fast. And because you're winning, you'll feel a lot more motivated to keep going. And like I said with the states, it's so much easier to continue doing whatever you're doing because your brain likes to just keep the ball rolling. So here is the 3-step momentum formula. 1, pick a keystone task. 2nd, make sure to keep that task as small as possible so you can win fast. And 3, you attach an identity after you complete that task. So let's actually take an example. Let's say that you have to clean the entire kitchen. Instead of saying, I'll clean the entire kitchen, which feels like a lot, just say, I'm unloading the dishwasher. Instead of saying, I'll work on this entire report, say, I'll write 1 sentence. And after you do that one small task, you affirm your identity. I am someone who is very productive. I like the house clean. That affirms the action that you're doing. And make sure after you finish a task to say, wow, that wasn't really that bad, and it prompts you to keep going. The real power of momentum lies in predictable wins, and your brain likes to know what success feels like or looks like. So if you give yourselves more opportunities to win, you'll be so surprised with how fast you're running through all your to-do lists. And when you tie that action to an identity that you internalize over time, it makes that outcome happen again faster in the future. Concept number 4, building systems and routines are not copy-paste. Raise your hand if you've tried to copy someone else's perfect morning routine and you give up by day 3. Totally get you. I would watch the aesthetic videos online that talked about this perfect it girl routine, and this included a $12 green smoothie, hot Pilates, yoga, and I convinced myself that I needed to replicate this to be productive as well. Spoiler alert, it never worked. Because someone else's dream routine will not work for you if it doesn't align with your actual life. And it's so easy to fall into that trap where you feel like you're not doing enough if you don't have that perfect routine. I want you to see all of these productive 4 a.m. routines as a way to inspire yourself, but not to feel the pressure that this is exactly what you need to do to be successful. Your systems don't need to impress anyone. They just have to specifically work for you. Let's say you have 2 kids, a demanding job, and chronic fatigue. That 2-hour meditation session in the morning is not going to work for you. But 15 minutes while your coffee is brewing, that works. Routines are merely rituals to help you stay grounded and be aware of your energy. A 2-hour meditation session doesn't mean that it's better than a 5-minute one. It just depends on whether it fits in your own schedule. Here are some examples of routines that you can incorporate in your week. And again, the goal is to become very intentional. Do a weekly planning ritual where you light up a candle and focus on being grateful. You can have an emotional regulation ritual every so often in your day. You can have a playlist or a mantra that you repeat to yourself every day to stay grounded. Task batching. Instead of switching all day, time block like tasks together, like emails, errands, groceries, whatever it is. Create systems that actually work for you and not just a productivity routine that you saw on Pinterest. And remember, take what serves you and leave the rest behind. And this is why a realistic system is much better than a Pinterest aesthetic, because you realize that reality isn't like that. We have to essentially show up when we can, and life isn't going to be aesthetic all of the time, and sometimes you just have way less energy than others. To build on the last concept we talked about with small tasks, we want to incorporate this in our routine every day. And here is how you can do that. Write down the things that you do daily without fail. These are your anchor habits. It could be something like, I make my coffee every day, I read a book every day, I take my dog out for a walk every day. After that, we want to pair a new habit, the smallest actionable step for that habit, into this anchor habit. So say something like, after I brush my teeth, I'm going to stretch. Or after I pour my coffee, I'm reading one page in my book. Another really good hack that really helps speed up my productivity is to theme your days instead of planning something different every hour. So here's an example. Monday days can be potato admin days. It means you don't really have to get ready, and this can include your scripting tasks. It could include answering emails, DMs, all of that. And then Tuesdays could be filming days where you have to get ready and be on camera. So this would be your course creation days or your filming days for all of your content. This gives your brain a little more structure, and it gives you more intentionality of what happens that day. And remember, when you do your routine, stay in the present. If you are doing a simple 5-minute reset routine, like opening the blinds and getting some sunshine, don't let your thoughts wander into the next to-do list. Really stay present and soak in the sunshine, breathe in, hear the birds chirping, and really soak in this reset. So I really hope that the examples we talked about during this concept will really help create a schedule and routine that works for you and your natural instincts. Like if you are a night owl and you work best at night, then make sure that your routine mimics that. Your self-improvement plan doesn't have to go viral. It just has to work for you. Concept number 5 is incentivize the boring tasks. You've probably heard we all have the same 24 hours in a day, but the truth is some people are more efficient than others, and we don't use the same time the same way. Some people accidentally waste 6 hours just doom scrolling, context switching, and it's not as efficient with their days. But others are way more productive because they learn how to incentivize the boring tasks. So I'm going to show you how. If you have something that you absolutely love doing or you consider as fun, make sure to block that until you finish a boring task. This sets the intention behind the work that you're going to do because it gets you closer to achieving that fun tasks. Like, I just need to get this done so that I can do this. Here's a mini exercise that you can try. Write down the 3 things that you always avoid doing. It could be answering emails, doing a phone call, or working on your course, something like that. Now, intentionally assign time blocks on your calendar to do these 3 tasks. Set a timer, and after you finish one of these tasks, reward yourself. You could be very creative with a reward, but make sure it is a high reward that you really enjoy. Maybe after I finish this task, I'm going to enjoy my cookie. Or you can say, once I write for 30 minutes, I can binge watch one YouTube video. Make sure to make the boring task fun. These are behavioral reinforcements, and the best thing about this is you prioritize your goal before having fun, which affirms the identity that you are a productive person. You get work done before you play. Here are some of my time block structures that I do in a day. I do a 90-minute deep work in the morning, and then I reward myself with a walk. Or if I'm really exhausted, I'm going to set a timer for 30 minutes to just do the task and finish it. And then I'm going to enjoy a YouTube video. The reason why this works is because your brain thrives off of dopamine. Anticipating the reward that you actually enjoy really encourages you to complete the task faster. So make sure to gamify your day by doing this, and you'll be twice as productive as before. It's literally a win-win because you're productive and then you get to enjoy your task a lot more and not feel that guilt. So these are those systems and hacks that you work with your brain instead of against it. So this is your reminder, you don't need to hustle harder, you just need to work smarter. Concept number 6, your emotions are data and not directives. Throughout this journey of changing yourself, changing your mindset, and changing your entire life, you're going to feel a lot of emotions. We are not robots, so this concept is going to expand your emotional literacy. I used to just drown in my feelings, and I couldn't understand what it was telling me. It felt so overwhelming. I didn't practice a lot of self-awareness in the past, so the only emotions I knew is angry, sad, and happy. When I started my journey with inner work, I started to understand the emotions I was feeling and where it was coming from, and that is where everything changed for me. I feel anxious turned into I'm scared I won't do this right. I feel stuck becomes I'm afraid I'm going to disappoint people. It gives me a perspective of what my underlying fear is. The first example I'm not really anxious. I just lack the self-trust in myself to do what's right. For the second example, I feel stuck. It is my people-pleasing tendencies that's getting in the way and why I feel stuck. By really understanding your emotion and understanding where it comes from, it becomes more actionable. So when you feel stress and you feel tightness in your chest and you're just overwhelmed, really sit down and reflect. When you feel the resistance, ask yourself, where is this fear coming from? What is the story I'm believing for me to feel like this? Once you really answer these questions, then you are more aware of how you feel and you're more proactive with changing that as well. What I like to do is if I have thoughts of doubt, of perfectionism, I provide evidence in the past of what I've done to disprove that fear and tell myself you are in the right direction. These are people that told you so. And these are things that you've done in the past that produced result because you weren't a perfectionist. So I would basically disprove that fear. When you are feeling anxious, down, and a little tired, sometimes you do need rest, but sometimes you need a reminder that feelings aren't facts. There's a concept in psychology called emotional reasoning. It's when we assume that our feelings are reflecting something real. I feel overwhelmed, so I must be behind. I feel stuck, so I must be failing. But emotions or thoughts are just signals to improve a process. The mistake is if we try to internalize this as there's something wrong with us, or we start to question our mission. If we focus on looking at our emotions as data, then it's going to help us improve 1% better every day. We think that our thoughts are true, but in fact, we have the choice to consider whether it's true or not. I'd like to share this metaphor that really helps me visualize my brain. I used to visualize my brain as something so chaotic that thoughts just kept running through my mind, and there's just so much things happening there. But when I started thinking about a courtroom, I was the judge inside my head, and every thought I would question the validity of it. It really helps put perspective into place. And most importantly, it gave me so much more peace. So here are some questions that I asked myself is where is this thought coming from? And is this thought helpful for me? Let's just say that you gave an opening speech and then you end up messing up and then suddenly you're questioning whether this is for you. Do you think that thought is helpful for you to actually improve in speech? No, it's going to detract you from that. So what is something that's helpful? Just say, maybe I can practice a little bit more. Maybe it's just the process of how I did it. Was it the tone that I was speaking at? It helps you move more proactively than being defeated that, oh, this just isn't for me. The ability to accept feedback and continuously improve the process instead of actually internalizing it as something wrong with you is the ultimate secret to become a productive person, to become your best self, because you used emotions as data and not directives. And this is exactly what separates people who are successful and who are not. I hope you're watching this video with one truth, that you are not lazy, unmotivated, you are just overwhelmed, you are misaligned, or you're trying to push an outdated system that isn't meant to work for you. In this video, we broke down 6 concepts that will help you become a more productive and better version of yourself. And this is what I've learned in my past to remove that shame, guilt, and perfectionism in my work. From regulating your nervous system to gamifying your productivity throughout the day, these are core concepts that you should be implementing in your life, and I promise you, you'll see drastic changes. If you're looking for some support for this change, I want to extend the invite to join the garden. This is our private community for human beings who are done growing alone. Inside, you'll find people who are choosing to water their dreams, uproot what no longer serves them, and bloom into their most aligned selves. This is your space to grow at your own pace with no judgment, with people who will support you and back you. If you're interested, the waitlist link is in the description below. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a video if this resonates with you. And comment something below. I actually really enjoy reading all of your comments, but comment one habit that you're trying to implement or maybe one of your favorite concepts that we talked about today. This is going to help us push this mission into other people that really needs to hear this. My name is Neandra or Dre, and thank you again for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!